Welcome back. I'm once again asking someone to end my suffering.
Another week. We'll start from Tuesday as we do. Give you the fixtures, all of them. Let them scroll across the screen as we discuss some of them. Going through Braga, late drama win over Union Berlin. Big win for them.
Not quite as late drama as the game we saw the previous week, but still some tasty stuff.
Tasty stuff. Real Sociedad, my Spanish team, 2-0 win in the Champions League. You love to see it. Their first time back in the Champions League. And
tough,
I don't know how
opponent,
long.
so that was a good result for them.
Inter 1-0 over Benfica, kind of a boring game. PSV 2-2 Sevilla. PSV finally getting a result with the Americans.
Need it.
Finally, come on. Copenhagen Bayern 2-1 Bayern. It was a little bit of something could have happened there.
Yeah.
Something could have happened there. Galatasaray Man United. We'll get into that a little bit more. Real Madrid, Napoli. Banging game. If you didn't see it, you missed out. Lens, Arsenal. Kind
of lessens the blow for me, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. As we said before, as you saw, Real Madrid 3-2 over Napoli in the Diego Armando Maradona Stadium. Like, bruh.
It's tough to watch. I mean, we have a soft spot for Napoli. We don't like Milan, but we want to see them do well because of the Yanks. But we like Napoli. We have a soft spot for them, and to see them lose, but put up a real good effort, was a little shaky.
The center back pairing was questionable. Like, I don't know if they didn't have certain people available, but this Ostergaard guy, I'm saying that, and he did go and score the first goal. He did score. Defensively, though, it's like him and the other guy, I can't remember his name, but again, exactly why. Like, you go from last year, Kim Min-jae and Rahmani, I believe it was, or Jesus, like those guys.
They had options.
And now it's like, against Real Madrid in the Champions League, you need those options.
I mean, we know that they did well for 70-ish minutes.
Right.
They held on to a lead or were drawing. Like, they did well. It was a tight game, but the pairing, the defense, I mean, just it wasn't what it needed to be.
No. Bellingham, though, I mean, he scores right after Zielinski takes a penalty because Ocean Man isn't taking the penalties for some reason. I guess he's not confident in himself and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Zielinski, being experienced, he hasn't had any, off the field drama that Ocean Man hasn't brought it on himself, but it is some stuff going on. We don't know how his headspace is, so to see Zielinski put it away, we were happy.
Yeah, and then again, like I was just saying, Bellingham, inevitable. This kid is playing crazy. Like, it was a beautiful goal, little solo. He got around
assist.
He got around the guy who scored the goal, Ostergaard, however you say his name. Like, it was a peach of a goal.
The dude literally plays like every position from 6, 8, 10 to 9. Like, he literally
at a world-class level.
Yes, he can play wherever he wants in that Real Madrid team. Mm-hmm. It seems like Ancelotti has really put his trust into him, and obviously, why wouldn't you? The dude's tearing shit up.
Yeah.
So he can really play in any role that he sees fit in that team because they are lacking that real striking presence up top.
Yeah. And the third goal, sadly an own goal, but it comes from a Valverde rocket that
should have been an own goal.
Hits off the back. It is an own goal. It hits
know,
off the back of the goalie, goes in. I mean, I don't know how it didn't go in. It looked like it was going in.
I mean, it hit off that top crossbar, and it seemed like it was bouncing down and then in. But, I mean, it was so close.
Arsenal, we're coming for you 2-1 to Lens. I mean, they didn't expect that.
That was definitely not expected. We see some fans in the section where the away fans meet the home fans. It was a little dicey there. There was a couple of Lens fans that were holding up a Champions League trophy. They were holding up badges of Spurs. It was pretty testy there. It was a tough environment.
In France, Arsenal coming out. Maybe they just had a little bit of, what's the word I'm looking for, like a big head. They thought they were just going to go in there and walk long.
Quick 3 points, wrap it up, just add it to the total. Won't have to worry about it. Didn't happen though.
That did not happen. Long, go score. Arsenal are absolutely just dumbfounded.
Struck. They're like,
I mean, I don't know who we can point out on this Arsenal team who showed up that day. Probably none of them.
before I get too much into United, I have to send my dearest apologies and my sincerest apologies to one Mr. Rasmus Højlund and Mason Mount.
Wow.
The two of them just showed what performances need to look like for this team across the board. These guys absolutely balled out. Mason Mount, coming back from injury, has been extremely, extremely helpful in this shit period we're going through right now. And Højlund is starting to score goals. He is absolutely killing it. But
2 goals against Galatasaray.
in the Champions League,
It's not
2
calling
goals,
killing it.
Let's be honest.
It's not calling
he
killing
killed
it
it for
yet.
that second goal. That was a solo run that it didn't matter damn near any center back. He was scoring there. But we start from the beginning as we always do. Lineups come out. It's as good as it gets. Honestly, 4-1-2 is a diamond. You know, not a lot of attacking help, but we saw Bruno kind of pop up on the right a little bit. You know, It just, I'm so frustrated, honestly. I mean, even like rewinding to this, like it really, really makes me so mad because this team there's just something wrong.
Tell us about the Galatasaray goals. What happened?
I mean,
Zaha!
United have no composure. That's really what it comes down to. These players get a lead. They go ahead, and then within 5 minutes, both times, give it up. And we did it against Bayern Munich. Like, this team just gives up goals after they score. I don't know if it's a big-headed thing, like Tanner said. Maybe Arsenal was doing.
I think it's like it's the pressure.
It's the composure,
like when they get scored on, it's like they fall apart.
Their heads drop.
But when they score, it's like they get maybe too comfortable.
Exactly. Absolutely. That's exactly what it is. They get too comfortable. They're like, okay, we can just coast the rest of this game because we're Manchester United. Not anymore, dog. Like, this team is not what I knew. Like, this team will never be as ambitious as we want them to be, or we feel they should be as United fans.
Not with these players. Maybe
not
even
with
this
these
manager.
players.
Maybe even this manager.
I don't want to say that, but not with these players. Not
that
with
needs
these
to be
owners,
a
not with the
conversation.
board, not with the people that sell the tickets out front, which I will get into. This team just missed composure. They give shit up too easily, and they can't score enough.
Who do you blame for Manchester United losing at Old Trafford to Galatasaray? That is Ten Hag's fault. Ten Hag in these last few results gotta be taking some heat. Gotta be taking some heat from United fans. This is insane.
Okay.
3-2 at home to Galatasaray, Trevin.
Listen, this team has... You have to put context into everything.
Oh.
United are a absolute shit show right now. Do I think that Ten Hag has made some poor decisions in the last couple of games? Absolutely. Does he deserve scrutiny? Absolutely. But I see United fans talking on Twitter like he needs to lose his job, like he needs to be this savior for us. No. You guys need to realize this is success for these owners. This is success for the board. Ten Hag can only do with what he has. The squad is depleted through injury. They're starting to come back. But just for whatever reason, the storm cloud around us prevents us from playing well. It's hopefully something that Ten Hag can remedy. But I don't know. I really don't know. And I have to just get used to it. And it pisses me off. Last thing on United, absolutely cannot have United selling tickets to Galatasaray fans in the stadium. Cannot happen.
Crazy.
This team is more important to these fans in this city to sell these tickets to traveling Galatasaray fans that are buying these season ticket spots, these hospitality spots that are just stands that haven't been sold to the home fans because they want to make that extra £300 because they're marked up just because you get a little seated padded seat. This is ridiculous. They came in, they took over Old Trafford. It didn't sound like it should, and it should never happen again.
Ooh, Trevin's mad.
I hate this team! I've calmed down a little bit. Now let's go over the Wednesday games.
Here they are. Wednesday, a good day for the other side of Manchester. As we see Manchester City get a little W. Julian Alvarez, a saving grace. This kid, we'll talk about it some more. This kid is he's a godsend for us. He's going crazy. We see Newcastle PSG, very interesting game there. 4-1. PSG not looking very good at St. James.
Is this the lowest point ever for them?
Yeah. Maybe this could be bad. Barcelona Porto 1-0. Porto could have scored, had their opportunities. Barcelona should have been doing more. Celtic Lazio 2-1 over them. Dortmund Milan 0-0. Decent game. Nobody scored.
Did see some minutes from the Yanks, so do like that.
What can you say? Atletico Madrid 3-2 over Feyenoord. That was a tight game. Some other games as well. Wednesday was interesting. As we said, Dortmund Milan 0-0. Interesting game. More interesting for us. We like to talk about it because, as Trevin said, we've seen some Yanks play. We see Yunus Musah and Christian Pulisic starting on the right wing for Milan, as he has been for a lot of this season.
I like the versatility that he brings into that team. Obviously, we know the coach does too, but
yeah.
He really can play on the right, the left, straight down the middle. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good that he's a jack of all trades for that Milan team because they need somebody to fill in on that right.
Musah also getting the start, though. This kid, 19 or 20, I believe. 20 now.
I was wrong.
20 years old. He is a star.
In the making.
In the making. This kid, full 90 for Milan. Every time he comes on the field, he's making an impact. Pioli, nothing but good words for him. I love watching him play. I cannot wait to see what he becomes. I know this is a long-term thing, but right now, even more so, it's awesome to see because he's doing so much for a Milan team that is fighting for Serie A, wanting to do well in the Champions League. Considering how they did last year, they want to improve off that for sure.
If you would have told the U.S. men's national team that their players are going to be playing at the likes of PSV, AC Milan 10 years ago, that you're crazy. This dude is 20 years old, and he starts and played the full 90 in the Champions League game in a team that was in the semifinal last year. It really is tough to wrap my brain around sometimes just how
awesome
good some of these guys are.
Yeah.
We have so much talent, and it's great to see. Is this the lowest point for PSG now in their, 15 years being under Qatar? We know that this group is very ambitious. They're very aggressive in how they build this team and how they want to play, how they want to move forward and build. But this point that they're at right now, is it the lowest one that they've been at? To me, it is.
This team, you go from Neymar, Messi, you move on, you still have Mbappe, you get away from all that drama. You finally have a decent set of guys around him. Really good players.
What appears to be a team.
Dembele, Kolumani, Ramos, those guys, those are quality players. They brought in some midfielders too. It's a good team. How they lined up, though, was interesting. Mbappe playing down the middle, not really how he wants to be playing.
I think he's really similar to Rashford in the way that they play. Now, I'm not comparing ability.
Right. They like to play off the left.
The positioning.
They like to play off the left for sure. Also, just this 4-2-4 against Newcastle away. Yeah. Newcastle took advantage. Some of these goals were a little interesting. Like, PSG were giving some things away. They looked open. You're not going to see Kylian Mbappe defending.
Yeah,
it's not going to happen.
A lot of that front line are not players that are known for their work rate and their defensive tenacity. You know, these are guys that are goal scorers, that are just foxes in the box. They're creative players, but they're not known for their defending. They're a tough team to stop, but if you do stop them, you've got a chance.
Yeah, Newcastle doing what they do. They are just a unit at home. St. James's was like they said before, it's the 12th man for them. Like, it really is. Like, it's insane how much of an impact that crowd has on that team.
And I really am interested to see when they go back to PSG how the fans there are going to react to the Newcastle fans.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, honestly, people are going a little bit too far. The Newcastle fans are going a little bit too far in the stuff that they've done to the PSG fans that traveled. Like, they were being rude, and just stuff you don't want to see.
Yeah.
And I think that the PSG fans may overreact a little bit to that. So I want to see how that goes back and forth. Not even something on the pitch, but just the fans, how they interact. Because I don't think they're going to just let it go.
And now, your favorite part of the week. Manchester City, 3-1 over Leipzig. Come on, City. A interesting performance. We go up. We'll start from the beginning, as we do. Line up pretty good. Rodri back in. So it was good to see. I wanted to see more of Phil Foden. Phil Foden does what he does. Gets his goal. It was nice to see. Nice little cheeky boy he is.
He is a really good player for this team. He's so versatile. We know what he can do. But he just has to bring it consistently, and he did.
It was a good performance. This team, Rico Lewis getting a start. It was an okay performance the second half. First half was not so good. We looked open. We looked a little vulnerable. We were trying to create. We couldn't break through. And we've been having that problem these last few games. And Phil Foden breaks the deadlock. 1-0, and then Openda scores right into the second half. Scores a goal. They come out strong. We're lacking. I don't know what's going on. We make some substitutes, and that's what does it for us. Julian Alvarez, yet again, whether he starts, whether he's off the bench, this kid is magical. I'm telling you, I'm not going to compare him to like a past player, but he's the future of Manchester City. We're all going to talk about Haaland for however long. Like, he could possibly become one of the best strikers ever. Like, if he continues the way he is, he could be one of the best strikers ever, right?
Yeah.
But Julian Alvarez, I think, is just one of those guys who I hope, at least, he's not going to get bought by like Barcelona or Real Madrid, and I hope he just stays and he plays on the left, plays on the right, plays in the 10. When he's playing well, he gets in the team. So it's not a matter of like, is he going to play? Like, oh, he doesn't get the playing time even though he's a class player. He's getting the playing time. Just like he's playing different positions, but he's playing all these positions so well.
He's really taking advantage of the fact that Pep kind of has to play him. He's playing into form right now. Like, he's just... how would you like to bring Julian Alvarez off of the bench?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know how many teams he would start for? Almost all of them except maybe 4 to 6.
Every team in the Prem starts.
Not over Hoyland. But
come on.
No.
Come on.
Nope.
That's a debate
all right,
for a
we'll
debate.
get into that
I can't
in the
even believe
future.
you just said that.
But he is a really, really talented player that should be playing in red, but with neither here nor there. He is a huge plus when he plays like this.
Late in the game, though, 92nd minute, Jeremy Doku, another substitute, finishes it off. A beautiful run in behind. This kid, electric, scoring goals. He's in form. He is a new light to this Manchester City team, as I've said before. Jack Grealish, you got to watch out, man.
That's all we got for you haters this week.
Yeah.
United lost. City won. We'll be back this weekend. You know what it is. Peace out.
Like a lame ass outro.
I do.
No, that's cool.